Okay, good afternoon. It is 6:06. Welcome. We have item 2, general session, called to order. We have a quorum. I call this meeting to order at 6:06. I'm sorry, and we do have a quorum. Okay. You'll please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of Mexico, with the example of perfect friendship among the united cultures. Okay. Recognition of guests and staff, everybody. We do have a pretty good crowd today. Look forward to your presentation. Item 3, consent agenda. Do we have a motion and a second to consent agenda?
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Item 4A, reports.
Okay, so first one is construction report. The construction committee met last week. Decker came in person. And so we're going to share their slideshow they went over. I am going to skip some of this 3 part as they've made some changes. Something we considered here is our current thought on vehicle traffic. I talked to you guys about that last time, about them being able to come off Lincoln and drop off in the back. They also presented with us a secondary option this last time, where we could have coming off of Butler, our cars, and then our buses drop here. Once Decker came and walked, as well as some information from us, this is not viable for bus traffic. So with that, we have challenged them that we do like this secure loop that kind of currently that we have at the elementary school, but right now this piece doesn't work without buses also being on site. So we're still leaning towards the other, but challenge them with, hopefully they would come up with a creative solution that we might be able to have this loop. Our biggest issue is the fact that everybody traveling on Butler, all cars, we're talking about a lot, may or may not work after walking the site. So maybe this entrance needs to come not off of Butler, just because it isn't very wide and people do park on that street, creating kind of a mess for us there. So this was explored as the committee, and then we talked very briefly on design elements. For those of you who haven't been with us, currently this is what we're looking at. An elementary school wing here on the south side, middle school wing on the north side, with a middle school gym that's facing the parking lot for ease of access from the community. We would have our media center here, which would encumber both our elementary and our middle school library, as well as our art classroom, and our music kind of here in the middle is shared. Our administrative wing here as a shared space with nurse's office, which will really help in terms of right now, Miss Adanya is everywhere and anywhere all day long, as she's having to give 3 different buildings medications or take care of students. Having a nice location where everybody can come and there's room for everyone there. This building over here will be getting parking lot that's easily accessible, not only to this school, but also for our fields over here, because we can never have enough parking. This is our CTE space for middle school. So it would include our culinary space, in which we're going to offer to middle school. That way, as we look at our CTE pathways, we'll have started all of those in middle school. And that way, as they make it to high school, they will have already touched on that piece as well. This will also have our computer lab for our middle school as well. This is a closer view of that same layout. This is what we had previously planned, and they've made a few changes to it, and they're gonna still have to make, one of the biggest changes to this is there isn't a restroom that's easily accessible to the gym space. And where do the majority of our activities happen are in the gym space, and we need that to have restrooms that are close, not only for student access, but also for when we have events that are easily accessible to the public space as well. So currently we're thinking that they're going to come back with some restrooms in this area right here. These are just smaller versions. The other piece I want to show you, this is their interpretation of all of the things that the committee has talked to them about and kind of Dexter in general. So their inspiration is the water table, as well as all of the crops that are growing. So cultivate, spread, flow, these are all words, and nature in terms of that. Here is a material palette that they have presented to us. Previous to this, they presented us with green and purple different options, and that was an absolute no. So when they came back with blue, you know, we came a long ways from in terms of, yeah, that won't work, and we would prefer to stay in the realm that it screams Dexter as you pull up. This is talking about the roof height, so they want to create visual interest with the roof heights. The gym spaces will have the tallest roof. This is a possibly porch in the back, which will have a higher roof, and then all of the classroom space in yellow to create some visual interest. This is their first side rendering of kind of what it could look like. But here is their first concept in terms of, and it goes on the circle, which they feel like fits our cultivate theme well without having to go green, because that's the color that they initially thought.
Did they not realize like our biggest rival?
Well, I think after we talked about it, okay, here is the front view that the committee likes best. So this would be the gym space here. And then with that, there'll be circle or half circles to represent that space, with the blue here running all the way through the building, being able to see with the windows, letting in light as well here. These are, they want everybody to know, initial renderings. Once they have everything in place, that does change the way things look and feel, but they do want to start thinking about what materials might we want on these buildings. And initially, the comment, not from these, but previously was, it was kind of prison-esque in terms of everything was kind of flat, no dimension. And so that was important for us as we want this to scream at school, but also not that it's an institution other than a school. And gray can definitely do that if it doesn't have other pieces with that. So here is, as a committee, this is the one we really thought focused on all of that. And this is the back first rendering of the playground space. So it doesn't have any playground equipment, but you notice windows letting in light, and then as well as the circle pieces in different angles, providing that same. So they did bring in a second concept. So here's still the first concept. And that's the top of the second concept. And here is the second concept. And we did all really like it as well, but we felt that the window pieces as well as the half circles and this part of the gym felt a little modern in terms of, so the other fit better. We're currently still waiting on them to nail down the flow of traffic, because that will also make building. And then with this, then they'll have final renderings of this. But this at least gives us some design concepts and the feel of what our building would look like.
Slide back up a little bit.
Oh, look, they even flip here, they are side by side.
Slide back up a little bit to the modern view of the outside of the gym, front side, so it'd be the east side of the gym. Yeah, that one. So even on the other one, windows are just hard sometimes in gym. I'm not opposed because I love windows all over the house. But
Thank you.
yeah. But in a gym, they only get hard because when athletes are playing, if they have a morning game, thankfully these are east facing, so all evening games will be fine. But if you still do like little league basketball and stuff, and that light is coming straight into your eyes, that kind of stuff
So,
is hard.
so
I
we
don't know
did,
what.
we did talk about that, and this
That-
is the only
nice.
picture that they have these baffles on.
Okay, cool.
But we did tell them we like this idea
Yeah.
of if we are gonna have windows, we need something to at least shade partially, but this also gives
Sort
some
of light.
visual interest
Yeah.
to the building as well. So they are aware. The
Cool.
other piece that they talked about is the possibility there are shades that are battery operated and whatnot that you
Yeah.
can utilize as well. So there was, look at you, Chris.
I
you
would
were-
opt for those just because one, more visually attractive,
Yeah.
but then two, the shades, you're gonna have to maintain those suckers because they're gonna go out a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
And you'll notice on the ground, they also, the concrete even, have done poured in circular to also give some
Yeah.
circle. With crop circles maybe is not the right, but it is the, it is the right term.
Yeah.
So committee is doing a lot of discussing. Nothing is in
Set in stone.
set in stone, so
And we're okay with the elementary building. It's not gonna be too close to the railroad tracks, the way it's laid out.
so
No, ma'am, we've got quite a bit of area away from it.
because we.
It's hard to visualize.
Yeah, I don't think this one has. They have it visually where you can see everything on here. And they're also talking, so with PSFA, there's a lot of rules. But if you know those rules, you can also figure out how to manipulate the rules. So trees, they will only pay for us to have 2 trees.
Two,
2 trees. However, if you know that this tree is going to be a barrier for said train, then we can say, hey, these are not just trees, they're also
Sound barrier.
sound barriers. So with that, those are things that you can have that they'll let you purchase, but
Interesting.
we're learning a lot.
Uh-huh.
So right now we do not have another meeting.
Not
Set.
that it's a no.
As soon as we do, we will invite board as well. The other piece with this, I think we really need to start community, selling it to the community, right? We need to start talking about it. This is exciting. Even if neither of our buildings don't look like either of these, our kids are gonna have a brand new space. But with all of the things we still value. So we have taken into account the bell at the elementary school, at the round building, the painting in there as well. So they're aware of all of these things that we want to bring in to make it our school.
Yeah.
And so they're gonna provide spaces for these to be, so that way we're bringing some of our heritage, I guess, with that to make it not a brand new school as well. So we will be inviting you, but April 7th, they will be back in person at the elementary school. Elementary school is having science night. And Decker will be here to present again anything that we have talked about as a committee at that time. Jeannie, 5:30?
I don't know if it's still my.
I don't think it, maybe it hasn't done yet. Okay.
Yeah, we'll find out.
April 7th.
And so then once we know the times, like we'll even advertise to the community, like, oh, hey, come see the new options for the building. right?
Yes, and we will definitely invite all of the city council members. Because we did take it to them for the roads last time.
Yeah.
And all of them were very interested.
I'm gonna talk about the website they're gonna create.
And then if anyone can't come, Decker is creating a website, so that way everybody can keep up on where we're at in the process. So that is also coming out as soon as they can get it put together. And we'll be sharing on all of our social media. We'll send text to all parents and let them know, because that really is the best way to get everybody here is to provide them with a specific message. So. Ready for B.
All right, B, student teacher reports.
Hello, my name is Maria Martinez, and I'm the Vice President of the Middle School Student Council. Hello, my name is Ilani Sanchez, and I'm the Project of the Year Committee Chair. Hello, my name is Isabella Mendoza. I'm the Middle School Secretary and Voting Delegate. Hi, my name is Gibbs Lee. I'm the Committee Chair for Historian and Mrs. Stuco State 2026. As voting delegate, I had went to this meeting with a bunch of different high and middle schoolers. And we were listening to each running state delegate talk about how they would prioritize their position as a state student council member. It's been a really fun learning experience. Although we ran into an obstacle, we overcame it. The name of our workshop was Grooved Motivation. The idea was to show that if someone is having a tough time, you all have to work. This could also show different perspectives and obstacles. My workshop was where I broke my group into 4 groups and then gave them each a challenge while there's going to develop habit. Each person had a different opinion at the end of the workshop. No matter what challenge we had, we always know that we're going through the same obstacle. We submitted a project connection of us helping our community. We did a food distribution where we distribute food to our community to help child hunger in Mexico. Our project connection won first place, judge choice, second place delegate.
So of course, because we got second place, we don't get the ribbon. The ribbon only goes to first place. So since we were first place judges, we got to come home with a plaque.
Nice.
Awesome.
For score, we had gotten gold plus with 1,450.
So our report is due second Saturday every January. And, last year we made silver and we said next year we're going for gold. And we didn't just get gold. If you look at the first paper at the very top, it says gold plus. So
Right here.
we went overachieved because as it says, there is, maybe it's on the next page, the back of the page, that gold is 1,200 and something. So we of course got over 1280.
Nice.
Yeah, they did. Evelyn here did a lot of work. And then trying to find our minutes. That was so much fun. We're like, it's in your drive. It's not popping up. It was so great.
Nice. Very cool.
And a neat little tidbit about our project of the year, Elani is what we call a student council legacy. Her sister, her 7th grade year, also POY committee chair, her project as well took first place. And so I think it's pretty cool that they both, her and Andrea both have a plaque to honor their hard work that they do.
That's pretty cool. Congratulations.
And of course, we always have unique connections. Both of these gentlemen, they have been here to Dexter. Art was our speaker last year at our parent night, and Eddie Loiskowski. I probably just butchered it. He was our speaker the year before, and of course, every time we get with Art, he's like, "Where's your kids?" So right in the middle is, well, two of them are here. Manny right here is was the one of the two that mainly did that banner, which we broke on our way home. So that's great. Oh, and our spirit stick, we don't have it because it broke again. Second day we were there. I don't know what it is. So us and spirit sticks, we go through them like crazy. But these ladies and gentlemen worked really, really hard and represented us very well. To get some, hey, is this your kid? And I'm like, yeah, that's my kid. Hey, they're doing great work. Okay, whatever that is, but thanks. And we're not specific. And so, but they were really, really excited and really nervous. They realized how much bigger Los Lunas is, because that's where it was at. You know, we stayed in Albuquerque, and it was lots of fun.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time and thank you for letting us attend City Council State 2026.
Group into leadership.
My granddaughter was one of the Los Lunas Student Council kids that helped to,
Prepare for state.
yeah, and her reports were just all good. It was a wonderful time for everybody, I think.
There was just one hiccup. Real quick. Friday, we have our moment where, as a district advisor, the kids meet with the officers. We as advisors meet together, and we were like just starting our meeting. And the school campus came. I was like, "You have to leave now. We just started our meeting. We're supposed to be here for another 45 minutes." Nope, you got to go now. The buses are all ready and lined up. So we get to the bus. Margarita was the second person. Artesia High, who's my other advisor, they were at front. We were second person. So because the night before we were the last ones to leave because no one would let us over. So they had a map plan. It just unfortunately meant we had to send a very long email to say, this is the stuff we didn't get to talk about at state, but it's okay. Not our problem. It was okay. It was fun. We all enjoyed it.
Very good.
Well, congratulations. That's great work. Good job.
Thank you.
Come across here.
Just gonna say, they work all year to prepare for this. And so they're even in conversations at this point about
Project Impact.
what's gonna happen next year and how are we gonna springboard, and they truly are a big part of the lifeblood of the middle school. So
How many families are you feeding every month?
It depends. It ranges. One month it was 86. Last month was 68. The month before that, which would be January, was 75. I did
Yeah.
need to bring the QR code for you guys.
That's okay.
Project.
But they are every month, the Roadrunner Food Bank comes and then this group puts all the boxes together and families can come and pick up a box. So
That is our project.
built just a quick spreadsheet for you guys in the board report when you have a second, but I wanted you to see what they're doing every month. So those numbers are in there for you.
Yes.
Next one is Wednesday. Is this Wednesday?
Tomorrow.
2
No,
days.
2 days.
2 days. Yeah.
They have
Pretty cool. Well, thank you. Thank you for bringing all your.
can we shake all their hands?
Yeah. You want to shake their hands?
Yeah, yeah. We gotta start making that a.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for coming.
Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you guys. Good job. Good job. Yep.
Well done.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
They're so cute.
Okay, and on the, do we need to add to that or we good?
We're good.
Okay, so on all the reports, thank you guys for all you guys include on there. It's kind of hard to, read them all out loud or something like that, but we do look at them, and thank you for all the updates. So,
We did have a question on
Yes,
those
ma'am.
in terms of, can you make comments? So if you'll notice on there, Ms. Batista has added comments about like, hey, give me a little more. Can Leprino help with this in any way? Don't be afraid if you have some kind of notes. That at least lets us know, A, you're reading them, or B, how can we in terms, utilize whatever options, or maybe we haven't thought of that. So that is an option. If you have questions or comments, we can definitely take this time to go over questions as well. We don't have to just rush through them, but
Sounds way now.
that's good. I like that.
Ms. Miles does have something to report out in the board report.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah, you went to elementary, had a Read Across America.
Yes, I did. I got to be a part of the Read Across America Day. Totally aside, I said to my daughter that I was going to the elementary school, that it was Dr. Seuss Read Across America Day. And she said, I know, I was in Hobby Lobby and there was a lady with a tail in there. So it was, and I just really enjoyed it. It was fourth grade that I got to spend a little bit of time with, and preschool. And so I really did enjoy that. Plus I enjoyed the pie auction, and it was very successful. But one of the best parts of that whole thing is our students and their participation in it. And, I mean, they walk around and smile and answer questions and help. And it's remarkable. And again, it's something that's kind of unique. I think other schools have events like that, and I doubt very much they are as successful as ours have been. But that's credit to the ag program in itself, because it's the alumni that have been through that program and see the value in it that really make that particular event happen, I think. And so just, it's good to be from the country. But
I also would like to add the pie auction was a huge success. That was very nice to see the community turn out. I know there was a scheduling issue at the beginning. But as soon as everybody got done, and huge congratulations to the girls basketball team as well. That was good.
So with that, girls left today at noon. We sent them off in true Dexter spirit with the police and the fire trucks. So they are on their way. They play at 9:45 in the morning. So if you have a minute, you can watch them on NFHS.
Do we know who they're playing?
Cobra.
Cobra?
Yes.
Okay.
So excited for them.
Awesome. Item D, superintendent reports.
Okay, so with this, I had a lot of PDFs this time and not a lot of Google Docs, so it makes it really hard for me to, for each individual item, put that document that goes to it, because PDFs will only go to the file. So they are all in that document section under superintendent reports, but we received met requirements on the 23-24 annual determination of adherence with the Individuals with Disabilities Act. So for those who don't know, we now have a state secretary of special ed. And with that came a lot of unveiling some of the things that hadn't been done in the past. So there was some cleanup that has already happened in the 1 month that they kind of have created this. And so that's why we're seeing some of these things that are behind. So the 23-24 determination, we should have the next 2 school years soon is the thinking, but they're cleaning up from the back forth. So we met those requirements. There's nothing else that we have to do with that information, but I did think that was important as we look towards even the things we know are wrong, we did meet the requirements for them during that time. I have added the NMSBA legislative summary on there. You probably received it through email as well from Joe Guillen. There's one particular bill that has a really large impact on us, and that's the mandate that we pay 80% of insurance for all staff members. And we were pretty sure that was going to pass. I can't tell you if governor has signed it yet. I didn't look that up, but I don't see any reason. This was a pretty bipartisan bill that both sides were in favor of. With that, Jeannie and I did some math this morning, and we're looking at right at 300,000 that'll up our budgetary need for next school year. And that is only if one more staff member takes insurance.
No, that's no extra.
No extra,
I
okay.
usually budget about 5 extra folks, just in case I know of one.
Yeah, so we are looking that it'll probably even be a bigger hit. It is supposed to be a funded mandate. So once we know the SEG next week, we are hopeful that they will have funded it adequately. We did some quick math, and it's over $150 that we would need per student or per unit. And that's a lot. We talked about it in the pre-board meeting. Typically $30 is what we would consider a pretty good year that they upped the SEG. They did do it $75 for the second half, but to think that it's going to go up over $150 is kind of
A stretch.
And so we're just going to be really watching that next week as we go to spring budget and information being provided. So the other bill that will be affecting us is as teachers are getting licensed to teach mathematics, they are going to have more requirements, which is kind of a strain because we already struggle as a state in mathematics to find teachers. So they're adding more requirements for them to get a position in mathematics to get their license. The other piece that is in that bill is we will now have to have a math plan, and we will have to have teacher training. So right now for literacy, we provide our elementary teachers with letters, and we've started with 6th grade is the mandate this year. They take AIMS, which is on literacy instruction. There will now be a mandate that teachers possess whatever platform they choose in mathematics as well. So more training that's state mandated. We were awarded our capital outlay requests, bus barn improvements, cafeteria gym improvements, cold storage and cafeteria, and the maintenance vehicle. We want to say a big thank you to our legislators because that's super important. They don't have to fund those, and typically they fund 2 of 4 is kind of the typical when school districts go out. So for us to get all 4 of our asks, very excited that they chose that all of our needs were big enough. I'm going to spring budget next week, and we will have more ideas on a deeper dive of the budget after that once we know the final unit value. We currently have middle school skills for success EA position posted, educational library assistant at the high school, substitute teacher, substitute custodian, volunteer coach, and speech language pathologist posted. That speech language pathologist, we are going to have to do some really heavy recruiting in the next little bit. We have not had any interest, so we are going to try to work on making some major phone calls because that is a big place that we know we have a need for students to have in-person speech, and it's important that we do everything in our power to take that out there to the masses and let them know, hey, we have a position. We have NMS
Question on the
Yeah.
library assistant for the high school. I think last meeting or the one before we had talked about taking the librarian from the high school and moving them to the elementary. Is that where that's come in? Has that shift?
So currently, before we're really kind of on hold in all areas. These are posted currently. that high school, there was an EA at every school,
Okay,
every building.
Okay.
Elementary and high school have both resigned during the school year. And so we currently do have a district-wide librarian as well, a certified teacher who has a certification in library sciences. So does that answer that?
yeah,
Okay.
okay, thanks.
We have NMSBA regional meeting on 3/23. That is Monday night. We have met with staff to decorate all of the tables. This is your event, but Ms. Miles has helped get it all together for you in terms of making sure
Hey, thanks,
she took it on. So,
appreciate it.
but with that, Mr. Davalos, you will be giving the introduction welcome and also will be introducing, I want to say middle, I'll have to look again who we put, but a group will do the pledge and you'll introduce them, so. Okay. CES Planning Community Meeting. It does say March 30th. However, they called me today and thought it was tomorrow, and I had to tell them we have emails. So we may have to change the March 30th date as well. I'm not sure where the confusion came, but just for right now, keep that on your calendar for March 30th. That'll be our community meeting where we bring in anyone from, I've tasked the administrators in each building to give me some students as well as parents to have at the community meeting. With that being said, it will be a recorded meeting because we have all board members present. We will need to run it as a board meeting, meaning that it really is an open meeting. So anyone who does not get a specific invitation is still welcome to come and go through the process with us. So I do want that. It is an open meeting as well.
And that's the first step in our process of setting the,
Yes, and for our strategic plan. We look at our community needs and what we find are our big rocks, and we utilize that to create our strategic plan. Not on here. We did receive our CTE workbook, the high school, every year to receive Next Gen funds as well as Perkins. There's some steps we have to do through there. And so we have to create a workbook, and we got outstanding ratings. So we did great on that. So I want to go ahead and give high school some kudos for that. And then all of our attendance plans as well from each of the schools. We are now required to have attendance plans on how we're going to help students get to school. All of them also passed as well. And last year, none of them passed. So some great movement in those groups. So
What was the big shift that was needed? What were they not seeing that they're now saying?
so last year, so this is prior to me, let's put that out there. But then also one individual did all of the buildings. So I think individualizing that in terms of when you have ownership and it makes sense for your building, it might not make sense for the other building. And so they're not a blanket plan. But also we've sent people to training on exactly what that they're
Nice.
looking for and the verbiage. So
Nice, got it, cool.
yeah, it makes a big difference when you know what they expect when you're putting them together. So we need to make a decision about our May meeting. Typically, the May meeting happens a little bit earlier, and then we adjourn and we go to, we've been having it at the elementary school cafeteria for teacher appreciation banquet. And it's typically the same night as the board meeting, Monday night in May. And then cafeteria typically caters for us, and then we give away awards at that meeting.
present the
Years of service.
Years of service, and then if in an MSBA award of excellence, teacher of the year, retirements, and that such we have. So just wanting to make sure that we still want to continue. I think it's great. We don't always have all staff because that is a crazy time of year. However, there is a good majority of staff who do typically come and and be recognized. And I think that's a great way to end our year. And it makes sense to have it on that night. We typically cancel the workshop and we start the board meeting at 5. We try to be done by 6 so we can be over there. Just making sure that that's what we're all in agreement to keep.
We've used the elementary library as a space for the board meeting before.
Okay.
If you want to do that.
You good with that, Jonathan?
With
The elementary library? Can you set us up there? We'll plan.
It's just an option.
No, I think that'll be good.
So I would like to say, on that note, I remember talking to the cafeteria ladies, and one of their biggest petition, I'm not trying to get extra food here or anything, but one of the biggest petitions is, this is a staff appreciation, and is there any way we could join? We feel like we're always, set apart from it and this, that. And I think at some point we kind of discussed, can we get a group of students or maybe they cook and a group of students do the cleanup, or is there, I don't know what the budget looks like, but if we can cater some of that or just find a different way so that they can be included and be a part of it. I feel like that,
No, I think that's good. I think we can for sure have a group of kids serve. That won't be an issue at all. And then we just need to decide if you guys want it catered or if we want to just have them cook and have
Yeah.
students serve.
I just want them to feel included.
For sure. What kind of food do they typically do?
Well, they've had everything. We all had Mexican food. Last year we had steak. The best part of the cafeteria is these mini baked potatoes that we had the other
Yes,
night.
yeah.
If we could have those every
Every
day,
day.
let's forget about anything else they might cook. Because those are just the best. Yeah.
Okay.
And I know can we ask them for their input?
We can, and I can get that this week and then we can have an idea. Can you tell me what we paid to have 75 people catered this last week?
Well, it was more like 135 because they paid for whole district.
Oh, yes, true, because we had everybody.
It's about $9 a person for the 2 pastas and the salad, and then they include the bread and the dressing and stuff. So it was about $9 a person.
And who is that?
That we had fettuccinis.
Oh, yeah.
So there are options for sure.
Yeah. So in total,
That's
it's
not terrible.
about like 1,300, and we all know now that I am the over orderer of food because there were plenty of
We did it again today for lunch. So
Yeah, but it really was a good price for a lot of food and it was
Yeah.
delicious.
okay, I will ask cafeteria this week, be looking out for individual messages to make decisions based upon that. But I think those are good plans as we look forward to. But I just wanted to make sure we wanted to continue to have it as such. On that note, it wasn't on my notes, but this past year for back to school, we had a back to school pool party and it was really a hit. I know that the day that the pool opened, I did reserve that. So if we're looking at possibly doing that again, we probably just need to keep that on our mind in April.
The Dexter pool?
We did.
Oh, that was a
It
great,
was big enough?
it was a great turnout. It was good.
Yeah, we had hot dogs
They
and
had hot dogs and burgers.
ice cream.
Yeah,
Homemade ice cream.
homemade ice
That's
cream.
fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
All the
That's
kids enjoyed it.
It was good. So I'll make sure I put it in my list for next time.
You didn't jump in? You didn't do
I knew-
that?
Oh, I was running the grill. I was manning
See, you would have needed it.
the grill.
Slow down, jump in,
Right.
get back out, kick again.
That's all I have for reports.
Okay.
Ooh, quick question.
Yes.
Going back, because right above
Okay.
the board reports on the high school stuff, I have a few quick questions. So March 4th was the career day?
Yes,
It's already
so
passed?
it did already pass. It was like next last Wednesday.
Yeah.
We did look at your notes already.
I'm so sorry. You
You're talking-
Yeah,
Jamie's
so we
distracted
did
you.
backtrack. Yes.
100%, priorities, right?
Fashion show.
Can you tell me more about the career day? Like, what did that look like? What did kids do?
I will tell you as much as I can. I was over here at the CTE grant writing workshop during that time, but
Yeah.
Mr. Borella has planned for the last several years and planned again this year. We had about 11 different presenters that
Oh,
came
wow.
in. Students rotated. They went by their third period class and rotated from presenter to presenter, wide variety of presenters that were there and shared with students. What was shared with me by presenters, staff members, and even students themselves is that students were quite well behaved. So I was, not that we may have not secretly threatened them with a bunch of their lunch before the presenters. Students learned quite a bit. I heard that students were quite open, especially with some presenters that talked about social emotional things or even some possible challenges that students are currently facing. So Mr. Borella is eager to continue again next year. At the high school level, we really are focused on exposing students to a variety of careers. I wish I had this when I was younger, so just so I knew what all my options were out there. So really exciting. Mr. Borella fed all of the staff. He fed all of the participants and presenters that were there. We had some of our Skills USA students who assisted and helped throughout the entire.
Nice. So what did those presentations look like? Like, were they just up in front of the classroom talking? Did they bring stuff? Kids got to do any hands-on type things?
It was a variety of things. So it wasn't just like a kind of set and get. It was people bringing in some interactive things to share about what their daily lives look like or what their career look like, how to reach that career, what it entailed as far as education. It's just, I think students were, it was an atmosphere where students were relaxed and they could really glean from what they heard, but also they could share with presenters as well.
Nice.
So the answer is yes, we will put Loprino on the list.
I'm thinking of so many other things, right? Like, what are you going to do next year to grow and advance it? Like, what does even better look like, right? Because it sounds like it's fantastic. So what's the next step of like making that bigger and better? Just curious of all the things. Those are the things that like pique my interest, right?
We would like to partner with Loprino.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity outside of this job to tour Loprino when I did Leadership Roswell. And
oh yeah.
Great experience. I learned so much what kind of careers we have right here in our backyard. And the city, I had to look like so
it's like Willy Wonka, right? Like
you
get a golden ticket.
And you just
it's kind of fun.
So we would love to partner with Loprino because this is a wonderful, wonderful career, and not only just the building itself, but the agriculture. There's so many things tied to Loprino. The truck drivers, it's the dairy, it's our dairy farmers, it's
wastewater, it's engineering, it's farming,
it's our mechanics on the trucks, it's our business industry, our accountants. There's so much. Loprino, huge partner for Roswell and Valley.
I know. I'm like, I want to jump in. I want to bring in more businesses. Like Loprino wants to tap people and be like, hey, why aren't you there? If we're going, why aren't you going?
Yeah.
So,
Just we have a lot of Dexter graduates who have made careers.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that are doing great and fantastic. We have one right now. Why am I losing the last name? There we go. Yeah. Just saw him the other day and he's so happy over there and doing awesome. Another question on the Be Pro, Be Proud. That's tomorrow.
It is. And the truck's right outside on Clark Street.
Yeah. And I just looked it up on their website, but they don't have a time. It just says that it's tomorrow. So what does that look like?
So it's several sessions throughout the day. Our 11th and 12th graders are rostered in groups of anywhere from 15 to 30. And starting at 9 o'clock is the first session. 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Then we have 2 afternoon sessions. I believe the first afternoon session starts at 1:45. And then our last session would be 2:40, around 2:45 or so after that. So we've got 8 students who've been selected by Mrs. Loveland. She and Ms. Tucker with Europe from ENMUR are heading that we're gonna send our students through there. Myself and Mr. Rivetta visited the V Prime truck when it was here at University High back in September of last year.
Mhm.
When the truck, after the truck leaves us tomorrow, they're gonna be going to the Roswell schools. They'll be at Carter High School.
Nice.
So great.
And it focus,
simulation activities.
yeah, it focuses on career.
Different careers, and kids will get to go and do different simulation activities. One student who went with us to University High in September, and he tried the semi-truck simulation, and he realized he's not gonna be a VDO driver.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. Thank you. For that debrief.
We encourage all of you to come and join us tomorrow. starting
For sure. Yeah, and you said that last one starts at 2:45, yes?
Don't quote me on it might be closer to. They may be finishing up at 2:30. I'm trying to think.
You can let me
They
know
may
and I
start
can
at
let you know.
1:45.
Got
Call the school.
Perfect. Thanks.
Awesome, they started.
When they did go to Roswell, they also had to take resumes and they did job interviews with real companies as well.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering if that was part of the career day that you guys did.
Our career day that we had last year was, last week was.
Okay.
University
exposure.
kind of had to invite us to their. Activity where they did students that set for real interviews.
Good. Okay,
Nice.
thank you. I'll stop talking now. Good to go.
You're good. Okay, so item 5, public forum, 3-minute time limit per presenter. Yep.
No one?
Item 6, business. A, approval of out-of-state travel.
Perfect. We have a, you have it up? No, I don't have it up. We have a small, it's a brief, I'm just gonna stand over here for a minute.
So while she gets this ready, some of the things that we're asking for approval for tonight are because we have carryover funds from title from last year. So as you guys may know, like the district had received, some ESSER funds and things, and when those funds are timely, those get spent. And so we have quite a bit of carryover that we were approved. And, we're fortunate that Dexter, we have a lot of materials for kids. We have a lot of, opportunities, but we kind of looked at some unique professional development opportunities related to the goals of the district that we'd like to propose. No, you're good. And so a lot of the funding that we're using is money that if we don't use it, we are going to lose it. And so we wanted to propose some opportunities to get a lot of staff some learning this summer. So the first one is it's in the leadership board folder. Sure. If you open your Canva, it's shared with you on Canva. Here's my- Okay. Yeah, send it to me real quick. Yeah, I can just pop a link in there real quick. Sorry, guys. Technological difficulty.
Happens.
Where do you want it? You want me to just email it? Sure, that would be easy. Okay, should be coming.
I know it's out there, but.
I know it's somewhere in there. Okay, so
There you go.
I thought we showed the public one, but you know. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, yay. All right. So, as you know, some of our goals include, you know, engagement from bell to bell. So really encouraging students to actively participate in learning. Another thing that we really looked at was kind of data-driven opportunities this year. And so one of the opportunities we're going to propose relates to some data connected to our English learners. If you go to the next one for me. If you hit right here. Yeah, it'll be nice and big screen. There you go. Okay. So, and then the other thing that we're focused on this year is culture. And so all of our PD opportunities are kind of connected to those in a different way, because we really think that when you support staff, it trickles down to kids, right? When teachers have great tools in their toolbox, then that's when we see students engaged and performing in the classroom. So this is one of the first, I'm kind of out of order of what we're talking about, but I'm just going to go through and then you can ask me questions. So SIOP training is a protocol that is designed to support teachers in planning lessons for English learners. So a little bit of data, last year out of about 185 EL students, 2% reached English proficiency. So if you remember back to one of our first board meetings this year, we recognized a few of those kids who by state standard met what we consider English proficient. Teachers want proven research on how to support these kids. And the benefit of this training is it not only supports English learners, but it gives them tools that are going to benefit their special education students, that are going to benefit their high achievers, their medium achievers, all of them. And so this 2-day training would be here at Dexter Schools. It is from a company called TESOL Trainers. The guy who does TESOL Trainers has experience all across the world in supporting teachers with this. And he even teaches it as if you are an English learner, or well, an African language learner. So he does part of the class in an African language so that you get the feeling of what it's like to be in that. Very simple, great opportunities for teachers to just immediately take back and start the year with. So we'd love to offer this for up to 20 teachers this summer. They would be paid at their $250 per day rate to participate in that training here at Dexter.
How would it be decided what teachers get to do that? Because that sounds fun.
We have a sign up. So right now we just kind of opened it up to the staff and let them decide if this is a need that they feel is best for them, and they can avail, because it is off contract. And so, you know, of course, people have already made travel plans and things like that. So we did a Google sign up for this one and for the next one as well, just so that they have the opportunity to choose if this is something they need at this time. There's videos. I'm not going to show the videos, but I'll make sure you have this in case you want to watch the videos. Some of them are about a minute, 2 minutes, but some of them are like 4 or 5. So the next one that we are proposing is Kagan training. We just hosted day 1 of Kagan training on Friday. It is a very interactive, engaging, cooperative learning strategy. So the whole goal on Friday was, how do we get kids to actively participate? We all grew up in the call on one, raise your hand, one kid answers. The other 20 are just, you know, chilling, relaxing, right? Everything on Friday was geared towards how do we get every single student in that class to be accountable for learning through really fun, easy, engaging opportunities. This opportunity would allow for us to provide the next 4 days of this training, so days 2 through 5, which would just continue to build on those tools. We have a lot of new teachers. We have a lot of level 1 teachers, a lot of teachers who could really benefit from just that, those strategies that are going to make learning exciting. It even goes to teaching how kids coach each other. So how do you set it up to where if we're working together, the teacher doesn't have to be the only person in the room guiding. Kids can help guide instruction as well. Obviously, the teacher is, you know, the content expert, but by giving kids the right tools, they can also lead that learning. So this would be 4 days. We do have a little more availability for this one. It would be up to 50 teachers a day.
Because we are also allowing EAs. We had EAs come as well last Friday, and that was really beneficial, I think, for them, because they are our first subs that we call on in terms of if we can't get somebody here, they help us cover classrooms, but also the majority of them are providing some kind of group instruction at some point, and they also, I think, really had some good learning come out of Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ms. Batista, I know you had some questions on this in my board report in terms of Right now, we have not identified specific teachers because we are wanting to build that support across the district. And one of the benefits of this is it is geared towards pre-K-12. So even your high school kids, your pre-K kids, they can all use some of these strategies at a different level. And so the expectation moving forward that Ms. Pierce and our principals have set is that teachers embed at least one of these learning opportunities a week in their plans.
Perfect.
So just really bringing it to where we start small, but then hopefully we'll see that carry as they see the engagement and instruction improve.
Nice. So they would just get to choose one that they're comfortable with, that they feel they can fold in. And
Yeah.
then they would have to demonstrate it, like who's watching.
Like
They're
principals
checking
doing walkthroughs, and Ms. Pierce does classroom walkthroughs every now and then as well. And so, just observation. And then even in PLC time, it could become a point of conversation.
Yeah.
As to, hey, I tried this and what do I need to change or that.
Yeah, no, I've taken the Kagan training. It was awesome, but you definitely flop on it the first few times that you try it.
And something we also want to look at down the road, just to kind of follow up on that, is they do offer coaching. And they also offer engagement support specialists. And so those people come in and they sit down with teachers, help them plan, and then go and help and see what they do and give them feedback.
And is
so
that included in that cost?
That's not included in this cost. That is an additional cost, but we do have that in the plans for next year. We talked about it this spring, but it's kind of a hard time, so we're still kind of discussing that. But either way, we do want to bring the coaching at some point. It's just a matter of timing and making sure it's the best time for teachers to get that support, because you know how April goes in school.
Yeah, April's
It's
crazy.
a little bit crazy. So
I also know what it's like listening to someone coming in from the outside versus your principal that you all have all the time, right?
yeah, absolutely. So laying this foundation might be a really good thing for them to see that maybe they do want that additional support. So this is also off contract. So I should have put right here, EAs will be paid their daily rate. Teachers' PD rate is $250 per day. Okay, and this goes to that bell to bell instruction goal. Like to give you lots of information. Okay, Avid Summer Institute. So currently, as you probably know, our middle school does use the Avid strategies and the Avid program to support their learning. This opportunity is called Summer Institute. It's a really great collection of educators that come together, and again, they provide strong instructional strategies. Avid's a lot about relational capacity. It's geared towards, generally your first generation college students or career. And so with this, we'd like to send 8 of our middle school teachers and staff members to Dallas this summer to just continue to build those instructional practices that are going to lead to strong college and career readiness for them. They've put a lot of work into Avid strategies this year, and part of our contract with Avid is 4 of those people's registration is already paid. And so this fund is really just paying for the travel and for the additional 4 staff members to go. They can bring a lot back, but I will say, having been to Avid, you get a lot more there than often you get brought back. And so spreading that love a little bit to a few teachers would be great. Okay, and then this is the one that you started with, but so the Ron Clark Academy experience, and I do encourage you at some point, please go watch this video if you've never heard of Clark. So the Ron Clark Academy is a institute in Atlanta that they started designing instruction to support students in high need situations, extreme poverty, low performing abilities, things like that. And then they realized, hey, we want to spread this love across the nation. And so they made it a professional development school. And so this opportunity would take 18 educators from Dexter to the Ron Clark Academy. You get to go through workshops that are embedded in their daily learning. So it's not just a sit and get, you're actually watching experienced teachers provide this instruction to students who are a lot like many of our students across New Mexico. And it's about culture and climate systems, but it's also about academic engagement. So not only do they have a really strong community in their school, Ms. Fergie already does their house system. So if you've had any kids in the middle school, you've probably heard them talk about their houses and how they belong to like a little family at school. That's where this originated, but it also goes to just the way they make students feel loved and cared about and have high expectations for them. And everything in their classrooms are structured to maintain that high expectation. So we would love to take 18 staff members to this. That would be spread across the district. We have seen several other schools in New Mexico go and do this, Elida, Clovis, Silver City. And they come back with just such great feedback of things that they want to implement in their schools and their district. And so we're really hopeful that, we'll get the chance to do this and bring that back, and then maybe continue adding educators that get to go experience this training. Because again, it's one that when you're on-site learning, it's nothing like we could ever replicate. Really, this video, if you're going to watch any video later, I really encourage you to watch this one, because it's just like you just want to be there when you see it. You're like, oh, that looks fun, but it's learning as well. So those are our 4 requests for tonight. So I will stand for questions.
No questions.
There's a lot of information, I know. But
Really?
So you'll notice that in the past, we've had a lot of requests to send a lot of people out to different PDs. Our main goal here was, how can we get the majority of this training in person? Not every training can be in person, but some of these bigger ones, if we can bring them here and offer them here, we're training a lot more teachers in this realm than if we were to have to send somebody out. So that is kind of our focus, is how many more can we hit if we bring somebody training wise here. And I think that's important as we go forward, to still kind of try to hit that pre-K-12. All of these go for anyone. We're still trying to make that broad. Once we have a good base training for everyone, then we can start departmentalizing into specialized groups and provide some math training and some ELA training. But right now, we're just training on engagement. What does that look like in the classroom? And how do we engage students today is not how we engaged students 10 years ago. Right. So we have to be creative. And I don't remember her saying on Friday, but novelty is like, your brain craves novelty. So how do we continue to change things up and make it where students want to be engaged in that learning, because it's not the same every single day. So.
Awesome. Yeah, this is great. It's an investment that it's a direct investment back to the students and obviously to the district. And the better we get as a district and all that good stuff, the more we'll be able to attract also in-field positions, because of this kind of investment. So.
Yeah, and this funding comes out of title funding that we either use this year or we lose. So we have till June. So you notice we're packing a whole lot into June. It does seem like a lot. We know that there'll be some teachers who choose not, they may choose to do 1 week, but not the other week. And we're okay with that. But we also want to be good stewards of this money and provide really good training.
How many total teachers do we have, elementary to high school?
Like certified teachers or certified MEAs?
Certified.
Certified, probably 77, I know, includes EAs.
Yeah, that's what
why you asked that question.
So certified teacher wise, if we take out EAs, probably
right at 50.
about 50-ish. I think originally, because originally Kagan, we were going to do just teachers, and I think we requested 59 spots.
Yeah.
But then we wanted to include EAs as well.
So really, like, every teacher has an opportunity to get involved once, if not multiple times this summer.
Yeah.
That's.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I move we approve the out-of-state travel.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Ms. Miles. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Ms. Batista. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Would you like me to tell you a little bit about the ASBO International? She did not touch on that, so I'll just, Jeannie is part of the ASBO board for New Mexico, and they provide them with this opportunity every year to go to the training, and it's just out-of-state travel for October. But New Mexico ASBO pays for her trip. We just need approval for her to travel outside the state.
Which that was included in.
Yes, there was a flyer for that. And so it's just one staff member, and it's Jeannie. So.
Okay. Item 6B, approval of training for Keegan Cooperative Learning Strategies.
I move that we approve the Kagan Cooperative Learning Strategy session.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Ms. Miles. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. C. S. PSYOP training, May 27th through the 28th. And what's that?
Is that a motion?
I don't think that.
A motion
we don't
item?
even-
So
No.
right now, the way that if it's above 20,000, we've been bringing it to the board because that was the previous funding amount. But we wanted you guys to be aware that we are providing this. We have talked extensively about our English language learners and how are we supporting them and what are we going to do. So I thought this is really important for you not to only know cost of this, but also that we are actively working towards some training for them as well. So it is not currently an action item, but I do think that as we go on, more and more of these will show up just so that way you guys know all the things that we're doing.
Very good.
Awesome. Okay, so we are on 6D.
Is this the first reading of all these?
They're not even a reading. So Ms. Batista had kind of brought up the fact that we really need to know the policy a little bit better and more about if we put them on here and we go through them kind of as a group and talk about the information on there, allowing even just that conversation for understanding. There are quite a few of them tonight, but a lot of them are really short. So you'll notice that D, the district mission and belief statement, the mission is Dexter Consolidated Schools is dedicated to graduating each student with an educational foundation for success as a responsible, ethical contributor to society. And then the vision is student excellence. So I think this is super important that we look at this piece tonight because as we work on strategic plan, you may or may not choose to, hey, okay, we need to tweak this a little bit. Our vision has changed for the district. But if we don't know what it is, then as we go and move it through those steps, we don't know whether or not this still fits all of the needs that we bring up.
Okay. So we'll just kind of
Yeah, I think we should
go
just,
through them real quickly.
yeah, go through them and talk about each of them. So this first one, the district mission and belief statement, I think fits what we currently want, but as we move through there, just keep this in your mind of, oh no, we should change and add these words that would make it better.
And
Yeah, I know. I'm just kind of looking at the vision one because I'm like, belief statement, pretty well encompassing. The vision, I'm like, what does that mean? Right?
So next, yeah,
Yeah, any school should want that, right? Like, so, and what does that look like to us? What is that? I don't know. I mean, it's nice and simple and straightforward, but at the same time, is it descriptive enough or is it just lazy? Because it almost looks just kind of lazy. Student excellence.
Well, I think part of that strategic plan
Will help us with that.
will help us clearly define that.
Yeah, I think so.
This is what's come forward through the years.
Yeah.
And so many things have changed over the years that we
yes.
have to.
So this was the date of the manual adoption, which I believe was 2009.
Sure, our strategic plan for that was created.
Was the 2018 or,
Let me have a minute,
yeah, I didn't even look.
maybe I'm switching.
She does. She 100%.
Myself, but I can look at the strategic plan.
So the second policy, the A0050, is the district legal status. So our official name is Dexter Consolidated Schools. I don't think we'll be changing that in any way, shape, or form, but we now know it's in board policy. This is our name, and the board of Dexter Consolidated Schools.
2013 is when that originated for the 2013 to 2018 strategic.
Okay.
So then 0150 it's a little bit longer. It's on community involvement and education. So the board recognizes that the public has substantial resources of training and experience that could be useful to the schools. The strength of the local district is in large measure determined by the manner and degree to which these resources are utilized in an advisory capacity and to the degree that these resources are involved in supporting the improvement of the local educational program. So we value our community and we utilize them where we need them. And then the advice of the public will be given careful consideration in the evaluation of such contributions. The first concern will be for the educational program as it affects the students. The final decision may depart from this advice when the judgment of the staff and the board such advice is not consistent with goals adopted by the board, consistent with current educational practice or within the reach of the financial resources available. So still very basic in terms of we're going to listen to the community, but if it's not feasible in terms of budget or where we're headed in our direction, then we're going to have to make a judgment call based upon that.
That one was fine.
Excellent.
Do we want to read through all?
I say we need to just get them all
Okay.
gone through that way. One, we know them, we know we've read them,
Yeah.
and also the community, whoever, I mean, they're all right there, but whoever's watching, that might be a good time to take a nap.
The only hard
But-
part will be is like the last 5 or 6 are anywhere from 6 to 10
Yeah,
pages.
we can get through.
Here we go.
right.
So parental involvement. This
Thank
is
you.
based on our parent involvement. So based on the philosophy of the district is the intent of the board that parental involvement in the district at both the district and site levels be defined in the broadest possible terms. Further, it is the intent of the board under such definition that the superintendent will, within the capabilities of the district staff and the financial limitations of the district at both the district and site levels, incorporate to the maximum extent possible a variety of activities, strategies, and mechanisms into the district and site structures that provide for the active involvement, active support to, effective interaction with, and development of parents as active partners in a student support team effort that will enhance the capacity of all students to reach their optimum potential. So we want parent involvement so that way students can be the best that they can be. And we're going to do everything we can to ensure that they are active participants in their students' education.
You want to grab the next one?
Yeah, sure.
The board is committed, A-0250, the board is committed to a policy of non-discrimination and equal opportunity in the relation to race, color, religion, sex, sexual orientation, age, national origin, and the disability. This policy will prevail in all matters concerning staff members, students, the public, educational programs and services, and individuals with whom the board does business. The superintendent will appoint the compliance officers and/or Title IV coordinators. All reports or grievances regarding discrimination in employment other than those regarding discrimination on the basis of sex should be directed to the superintendent's Office of Compliance. All complaints or reports of discrimination on the basis of sex shall be directed to the Title IV coordinator per policy ACA.
It's the Title IX coordinator, okay? That way we get it. It's the right person.
Okay.
I don't have a Title IV coordinator yet, so if we have to
So-
make a,
Okay.
that's another
Oh,
job.
Title IX, sorry,
And-
yeah,
and
sorry.
people might be like, what?
Oops, that's right.
This is a legal reference, so in terms of changing this, we would need legal representation because obviously the majority of even businesses hire utilizing these laws right here, right? There's no discrimination based upon any of these. And if there is, then we can go to the Title IX coordinator.
Next one. Anybody want to go?
Yeah, sorry. I got distracted going through a few. Is the next one just a form?
Yeah, no, it's A-0261. Compliance officer.
Oh. Sure, you want me to read all? 10
Yeah,
pages?
oh, there's
They're
gonna
gonna
be
keep
more.
getting, there's
Yep.
some that are 10 pages long.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. All right, discrimination, equal opportunity, compliance officer. The superintendent shall appoint the compliance officer, any person who feels unlawfully discriminated against or to have been the victim of unlawful discrimination by an agent or employee of the district, or who knows of such discrimination against another person, should file a complaint with the superintendent's office. If the superintendent or a compliance officer is the one alleged to have unlawfully discriminated, the complaint shall be filed with the president of the board. Complaint procedure, the district is committed to investigating each complaint and to taking appropriate action on all confirmed violations of policy. The compliance officer shall contact the is that spelled right? Complainant? And gather information to complete the grievance report. Following completion of the district provided forms, the compliance officer shall have investigated and documented grievances reported pursuant to this regulation as soon as reasonable. In investigating the grievance, confidentiality will be maintained to the extent reasonably possible. The compliance officer shall also have investigated incidents of policy violation that are raised by the board, even though no grievance has been made. If, after the initial investigation, there is reason to believe that a violation of policy has occurred, the compliance officer shall have remedial steps instituted and have the steps reported to the complainant. Never seen that word before. If responsibility is found, the compliance officer may determine whether or not to recommend institution of procedures in accord with due process, conduct, and disciplinary policies. If a teacher or an administrator is alleged to have violated policy, the due process provisions of the district policy GCQF shall apply. In cases of serious misconduct, dismissal or suspension proceedings in accordance with policy may be initiated. If a support staff employee is alleged to have violated policy, the compliance officer may refer the matter for the purpose of due process and discipline under policy GDQD, if the evidence so warrants. If the person alleged to have violated policy is a student, discipline may be imposed in accordance with policies JK and JKD. If the investigation reveals no reasonable cause to believe policy has been violated, the compliance officer shall have the complaining party informed in writing. Timelines. The grievance must be filed within 30 calendar days after the complaining party knew or should have known that there were grounds for complaint or grievance. Once the grievance report has been filed or reported and the forms provided by the district filled in, so far as is possible, the compliance officer shall require the immediate supervisor or site administrator to investigate and respond in writing to the complaining party within 10 working days. If the complainant is not satisfied with the actions taken by the administration as indicated in the response and effort to alleviate the discrimination alleged, that's funky. How do you pronounce that?
Complainant?
But there's not an extra T. Complainant? Because there's not another T
Yeah.
in there.
Complainant.
Complainant will have 10 days within which to submit a written objection, including a statement of the reason for their objection to the superintendent. The superintendent will have 10 additional working days to respond in writing to the complaining party regarding the objection. If the superintendent does not respond within the established time, then the complaining party may request in writing that the issue be brought before the board. The board will then review the record of investigation and have 30 days to respond to the complaining party in writing.
I'm sure that was run by a lawyer, so I don't know if we need to change a whole lot of that.
And it's just the process, right? So if we ever have to go through this process, we can go through here and here's exactly step by step what we need to do to ensure that we're in compliance.
Next one. would
Jane.
be-
281,
That's just a form
and this is the form. So
that it referred to.
And that looked pretty good. Pretty self-explanatory. Okay. Now 281, the next one is.
So 0300, we did just adopt June 30th of 2025. So the change that was made was at that time, we didn't have a Title IX coordinator on staff.
since then, we do, so this might be one that we want to bring back, and change this name. I've also, with legal counsel, they may, say to take out the specific name and just say that the district will have a Title IX, and that way we're not having to change every time that
Every
the
time.
Title IX, person comes about.
Do we need to ask them on that, or can we just go ahead and make it the title?
I would probably ask them just to ensure that we're in compliance, because the other thing is Title IX is not, just our process, right? It's a federal process, so I just want to double check that,
Okay.
because it doesn't belong to us, to ensure that we're in compliance with that one.
Okay.
We can take a go at it. A-0300, non-discrimination on the basis of sex. Let me get this larger. The following is to comply with the Title IX regulation found in 34 CFR Part 106 as revised in April of 2020, which said to be designed to eliminate, with certain exceptions, discrimination on the basis of sex in any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. An education program or activity includes locations, events, or circumstances over which the district exercised substantial control over both the respondent and the context in which the sexual harassment occurs. The district shall notify applicants for employment, students, parents, or legal guardians of elementary and secondary school students, employees, and all unions or professional organizations holding collective bargaining or professional agreements with the district, persons entitled to notification of the name or title, office, address, the electronic email address and telephone number of the employee or employees designated as the Title IX coordinator. Name, here we go, got bigger, good. I was having to focus that. I finally got it to get a little bigger. Name, Molly Pierce, Superintendent, Title IX Coordinator, Title IX that's what we're gonna end up amending.
Yeah, and I'm making notes right here that,
Okay.
and we'll have to have a first and second reading, but we can do that.
Yeah,
next.
we're gonna keep the address, PO box on there, all that good stuff stays, or?
Yes, I would think that all of that's not gonna change, but just how can we not have to re-adopt this?
Yeah.
If
Over
our,
and over.
Mhm.
Any person may report sex discrimination, including sexual harassment, whether or not the person reporting is the person alleged to be the victim of conduct that would constitute sex discrimination or sexual harassment, in person, by mail, by telephone, or by electronic mail, using the contact information listed for the Title IX coordinator, or by any other means that result in the Title IX coordinator receiving the person's verbal or written report, such as responding to any district employee, such a report may be made at any time, including during non-business hours, by using the telephone number or electronic mail address, or by mail to the office address listed for the Title IX coordinator. Any employee of the district is required to inform the Title IX coordinator, superintendent, or the supervising administrator of their work site of any report made to them or any instance they observed regarding sexual discrimination or sexual harassment as soon as possible. Failure to do so may result in their being subject to disciplinary action. Policy on non-discrimination on the basis of sex. This school district does not discriminate on the basis of sex in the education program or activities that it operates. And for Title IX and 34 CFR Part 106 will not discriminate in such manner. The requirement not to discriminate in the education program or activities extends to employment. Inquiries about the application of Title IX and 34 CFR Part 106 may be referred to the district's Title IX coordinator, to the Assistant Secretary of the Office for Civil Rights, Department of Education, or both. Publications.
I'll take over.
Okay.
Publications, the district will prominently display the contact information required for Title IX coordinator and the policy found herein on its website and in each handbook or catalog that it makes available to persons entitled to notification. The district will not use or distribute a publication stating that the recipient treats applicants, students, or employees differently on the basis of sex, except as such treatment is permitted by Title IX or 34 CFR Part 106. Grievance procedure and process adoption. The district shall adopt, publish, and provide notice of grievance procedures that provide for the prompt and equitable resolution of student and employee complaints alleging any action that would be prohibited by 34 CFR Part 106, and a grievance process that complies with 106.45 for a report of sex discrimination or formal complaint. As defined in 106.30A, a formal complaint means a document filed by a complainant or signed by the Title IX coordinator alleging sexual harassment against a respondent and requesting that the recipient investigate the allegation of sexual harassment. At the time of filing a formal complaint, a complainant must be participating in or attempting to participate in the education program or activity of the district in which a formal complaint is filed. The district must provide to persons entitled to a notification notice of the grievance procedures and grievance process, including how to report or file a grievance of sex discrimination, how to report or file a formal complaint of sexual harassment, and how recipient will respond. For purposes of this policy and by citation, the definitions in 34 CFR 106.30A are adopted. See citations below in the legal reference. For purposes of this policy and in accord with the definitions in 106.30A, sexual harassment means conduct on the basis of sex that satisfies one or more of the following. 1, an employee of the recipient conditioning the provision of an aid, benefit, or service of the recipient on an individual's participation in unwelcome sexual conduct. Number 2, unwelcome conduct on the basis of sex determined by a reasonable person to be so severe, pervasive, and objectively offensive that it effectively denies a person equal access to the recipient's education program or activity. Or number 3, sexual assault as defined in 20 U.S.C. 1092 F6AV, dating violence as defined in 34 U.S.C. 12291 A10, domestic violence as defined in 34 U.S.C. 12291 A8, or stalking as defined in 34 U.S.C. 12291 A30. Upon receiving a report regarding sex discrimination or sexual harassment with or without a formal complaint, the Title IX coordinator shall provide a response to complainant and respondent of non-disciplinary, non-punitive, individualized services offered as appropriate, as reasonably available, and without fee or charge, which provide supportive measures and which shall include discussion of supportive measures and informing them of what is available without a formal complaint. The Title IX coordinator is responsible for the implementation of supportive measures.
You need a tag team? Got you. Yep. Upon the making of a report regarding sex discrimination or sexual harassment, the Title IX coordinator shall promptly contact the complainant to discuss the availability of supportive measures as defined in 106.3, consider the complainant's wishes with respect to supportive measures, inform the complainant of availability of supportive measures with or without the filing of a formal complaint, and explain to the complainant the process for filing a formal complaint. Supportive measures as indicated above may include counseling, extensions of deadlines or other course-related adjustments, modifications of work or class schedules, campus escort services, mutual restrictions on contact between the parties, changes in work or housing locations, leaves of absence, increased security and monitoring of certain areas of the campus, and administrative leave while a grievance is pending, emergency removal following the individualized safety and risk analysis, and other similar measures. In responding to a report or formal complaint, the district must treat complainant and respondent equitably by offering both supportive measures. The district must maintain as confidential any supportive measures provided to the complainant or respondent to the extent that maintaining such confidentiality would not impair the ability to provide the supportive measures. The Title IX coordinator is responsible for coordinating the effective implementation of supportive measures. Retaliation prohibition. No recipients or other person may intimidate, threaten, coerce, or discriminate against any individual for the purpose of interfering with any right or privilege secured by the Title IX or 106, or because the individual has made a report or grievance, testified, assisted, or participated in, or refused to participate in any manner in an investigation, proceeding, or hearing under this part. Intimidation, threats, coercion, or discrimination, including charges against an individual for code of conduct violations that do not involve sex discrimination or sexual harassment, but arise out of the same facts or circumstances as a report of grievance of sex discrimination or a report of formal complaint of sexual harassment for the purpose of interfering with any rights or privilege secured by Title IX or this part, constitutes retaliation. Corrective measures. A finding of responsibility will be a determination that the district or a person in the district has violated policy, and actions to correct the discriminatory practice or change the behavior of those involved will be instituted. Remedies designed to restore or preserve equal access to the district's education program or activity will be provided by the district if appropriate. A substantiated report of sex discrimination or formal complaint finding responsibility against a staff member in the district shall subject such staff member to disciplinary action in accord with GCQF, discipline, suspension, termination, and discharge of professional staff members, or GDQD, discipline, suspension, termination, and discharge of support staff members. A substantiated report of sex discrimination or formal complaint finding responsibility against a student in the district shall subject that student to disciplinary action, which may include the permissible penalties of JK, student discipline, and or JKD, student suspension, expulsion.
Okay, you want to talk about that one? More just about the process again, in terms of Title IX, if we have a Title IX complaint, what?
It gives us step by step.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly how we should,
How to process it.
yes. Okay.
Yeah.
You want me to read?
Yeah, which one's next?
I'll start. A0311. The procedure that follows are specified in 34 CFR Part 106 at 106.45 as required by the 106.44A and through listed as a regulation or federal regulations implementing Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972 as amended. Therefore, the regulation is considered the same policy. The following procedures may apply to all reports and formal complaints of sexual harassment that may be received, with the following exceptions for reports of sexual discrimination that are not formal complaints. Notice of the allegations, consolidation of formal complaints, dismissal of formal complaints, investigation of formal complaints, and at any part of a noted procedure that is specified for a formal complaint. Discrimination on the basis of sex. A district treatment of a complainant or a respondent in response to a report of formal complaint of sexual harassment may constitute discrimination on the basis of sex under Title IX. For the purpose of addressing formal complaints of sexual harassment, the grievance process must comply with the following requirements. Any provisions, rules, or practices other than those required by 106.45 as part of the grievance process for handling formal complaints of sexual harassment as defined by 106.30 must apply equally to both parties. Basic requirements. A district's grievance process will treat complainants and respondents equitably by providing remedies to a complainant where a determination of responsibility for sexual harassment has been made against the respondent, and by following this grievance process before the imposition of any disciplinary sanction or other actions that are not supportive measures as defined in 106.30 against a respondent. Remedies will be determined to restore or preserve equal access to the district's education program
or activities. Such remedies will include the same individualized services described in 106.30 as supportive measures. However, remedies need not to be non-disciplinary or non-punitive and need not to avoid burdening the respondent. Require an objective evaluation of all relevant evidence, including both inculpatory and exculpatory evidence, and provide the credibility determinations may not be based on a person's status as a complainant, respondent, or witness. Any individual designated by a Title IX district as the Title IX coordinator, investigator, decision maker, and any person designated by the district to facilitate an informal resolution process shall not have a conflict of interest or bias for or against complainants or respondents generally, or an individual complainant or respondent. The district will ensure the Title IX coordinator, investigator, decision maker, and any person who facilitates an informal resolution process receive training on how to serve impartially, including by avoiding prejudgment of the facts and at issue, conflicts of interest, and bias. The district will ensure that the decision-making makers receive training on any technology to be used at a live hearing and on issues of relevance of questions and evidence, including when questions and evidence about the complainant's sexual predisposition or prior sexual behavior are not relevant as set forth in paragraph 6 of 106.45. The district also will ensure that investigators receive training on issues of relevance to create an investigation report that fairly summarizes relevant evidence as set forth in paragraph B5 of 106.45. Any materials used to train Title IX coordinator, investigators, decision makers, and any person who facilitates an informal resolution process will not rely on sex stereotypes and shall promote impartial investigators and adjunctations of formal complaints of sexual harassment. It is to be presumed that the respondent is not responsible for the alleged conduct until a determination regarding responsibility is made at the conclusion of the grievance process. Include reasonably prompt timeframes for conclusion in the grievance process, including reasonable prompt timeframes for filing and resolving appeals and informal resolution process if the district offers informal resolution processes and the process that allows the temporary delay of the grievance process or the limited extension of the timeframes for good cause with written notice to the complainant and the respondent of the delay or extension and the reasons for the action. Good cause may include considerations such as the absence of a party's advisor or witness, current law enforcement activity, or the need for language assistance or accommodations of disabilities. Describe the range of possible disciplinary sanctions and remedies, or list the possible disciplinary sanctions and remedies that the district may implement following the determination of responsibility.
Use the preponderance of the evidence standard. Apply the same standard of evidence for formal complaints against students as for formal complaints against employees, including faculty, and apply the same standard of evidence to all formal complaints of sexual harassment. Include the procedures and permissible basis for the complainant and respondent to appeal. Describe the range of supportive measures available to complainants and respondents, and not require, allow, rely upon, or otherwise use questions or evidence that constitute or seek disclosure of information protected under a legally recognized privilege, unless the person holding such privilege has waived the privilege. Notice of allegations. The following is required upon receipt of a formal complaint. The district must provide the following written notice to the parties who are known. Notice of the district's grievance process that complies with 106.45, including any informal resolution process. Notice of the allegations of sexual harassment, potentially constituting sexual harassment as defined in 106.30, including sufficient details known at the time and with sufficient time to prepare a response before any initial interview. Sufficient details include, if known, the identities of parties involved in the incident, the conduct allegedly constituting sexual harassment under 106.30, and the date and location of the alleged incident. The written notice must include a statement that the respondent is presumed not responsible for the alleged conduct and that a determination regarding responsibility is made at the conclusion of the grievance process. The written notice must inform the parties that they may have an advisor of their choice who may be, but is not required to be, an attorney. Under paragraph B5(4) of the 106.45, and may request to inspect and review evidence under the paragraph B6 of 106.45. The written notice must inform the parties of any provision in the district's code of conduct that prohibits knowingly making false statements or knowingly submitting false information during the grievance process. That information may be found at GBEB Standard 2, GBEBB last sentence, and GCQF misconduct for professional staff, GDQD categories of misconduct for support staff, JK for students. If in the course of an investigation, the district decides to investigate allegations about the complainant or respondent that are not included in the notice provided pursuant to paragraph B2IB of 106.45, the district must provide notice of the additional allegations to the parties whose identities are known.
Dismissal of a formal complaint. The district must investigate the allegations of a formal complaint. If the conduct alleged in the formal complaint would not constitute sexual harassment as defined in 106.30, even if proved, did not occur in the district's education program or activity, or did not occur against a person in the United States, then the district must dismiss the formal complaint with regard to that conduct for purposes of sexual harassment under Title IX or 106. Such a dismissal does not preclude. So question on that 106, is that just 106 or should that be, is the rest of them?
106 point something.
Yes, 106.45 maybe?
It's probably just all of them under 106.
I bet. Yeah. We'll see if they reference it. That's the only one that, because further down, they do reference it as 106.45. Okay. Such a dismissal does not preclude action under another provision of the district code of conduct. The district may dismiss the formal complaint or any allegations therein if at any time during the investigation or hearing a complainant notifies the Title IX coordinator in writing that the complainant would like to withdraw the formal complaint or any allegations therein, or the respondent is no longer enrolled or employed by the district, or specific circumstances prevent the district from gathering evidence sufficient to reach a determination as to the formal complaint or allegations therein. Upon a dismissal required or permitted pursuant to paragraphs B3I or B3I or 2, yes? Is that an I or 2? That should be a 2 probably. Because it's usually capital I,
I'm just not sure.
I bet it's gonna be B3. It says I, so I'll say 1 or I. So B3I of 106.45, the district must promptly send written notice of the dismissal and reasons, therefore simultaneously to the parties. Consolidation of formal complaints. The district may consolidate formal complaints as to allegations of sexual harassment against more than one respondent or by more than one complaint against one or more respondents or by one party against the other party, where all allegations of sexual harassment arise out of the same facts or circumstances, where a grievance process involves more than one complainant or more than one respondent. References in 106.45 to the singular party, complainant or respondent include the plural as applicable. Investigation of formal complaints. When investigating a formal complaint and throughout the grievance process, the district must ensure that the burden of proof and the burden of gathering evidence sufficient to reach a determination regarding responsibility rest on the district and not on the parties, provided that the district cannot access, consider, disclose, or otherwise use a party's records that are made or maintained by a physician, psychiatrist, psychologist, or other recognized professional or paraprofessional acting in the professionals or paraprofessionals capacity or assisting in that capacity, and which are made and maintained in connection with provisions of treatment to the party, unless the district obtains that party's voluntary written consent to do so for a grievance process under 106.45. If a party is not an eligible student as defined in 34 CFR 99.3, then the district must obtain the voluntary written consent of a parent as defined in 34 CFR 99.3. Provide an equal opportunity for the parties to present witnesses, including fact and expert witnesses and other inculpatory and exculpatory evidence. Not restrict the ability of either party to discuss the allegations under investigation or to gather and present relevant evidence. Provide the parties with the same opportunities to have others present during any grievance proceeding, including the opportunity to be accompanied to any related meeting or proceeding by the advisor of their choice, who may be, but is not required to be, an attorney, and not limit to the choice or presence of advisor for either the complainant or respondent in any meeting or grievance proceeding. However, the district may establish restrictions regarding the extent to which the advisor may participate in the proceedings, as long as the restrictions apply equally to both parties. Provide to a party whose participation is invited or expected written notice of the date, time, location, participants, and purpose of all hearings and investigative interviews or other meetings with a party with sufficient time for the party to prepare to participate. Provide. I keep looking that way, Andrea. Provide.
Oh, I didn't see you looking. I'm waiting for the tag team.
I'm like,
Give me the tag.
go ahead.
Tag team.
Are you good?
Provide both parties an equal opportunity to inspect and review any evidence obtained as part of the investigation that is directly related to the allegations raised in a formal complaint, including the evidence upon which the district does not intend to rely in reaching a determination regarding responsibility, and inculpatory or exculpatory evidence, whether obtained from a party or other source, so that each party can meaningfully respond to the evidence prior to conclusion of the investigation. Prior to completion of the investigative report, the district must send to each party and the party's advisor, if any, the evidence subject to inspection and review in an, do you have a question on that one?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. To each party and the party's advisor, if any, the evidence subject to inspection and review in an electronic format or a hard copy. And the parties must have at least 10 days to submit a written response, which the investigator will consider prior to completion of the investigative report. The district must make all such evidence available for the party's inspection and review, and at any hearing, give each party equal opportunity to refer to such evidence during the hearing, including the purposes of cross-examination, and create an investigative report that fairly summarizes relevant evidence, and at least 10 days prior to a hearing, if a hearing is required under 106.45 or otherwise provided, or other time of determination regarding responsibility. Send to each party and the party's advisor, if any, the investigative report in an electronic format or a hard copy for their review and written response. Alternative to hearings. The district's grievance process will not provide for a hearing. After the district has sent the investigative report to the parties pursuant to paragraph B5, 7, and of 106.45, and before reaching a determination regarding responsibility, the decision maker or makers must afford each party the opportunity to submit written relevant questions that a party wants asked of any party or witness, provide each party with the answers, and allow for additional limited follow-up questions from each party. questions and evidence about the complainant's sexual predisposition or prior sexual behavior are not relevant. Unless such questions and evidence about the complainant's prior sexual behavior are offered to prove that someone other than the respondent committed the conduct alleged by the complainant, or if the questions and evidence concern specific incidents of the complainant's prior sexual behavior with respect to the respondent and are offered to prove consent. The decision makers must explain to the party proposing the questions any decision to exclude a question as not relevant. Determination regarding responsibility. The decision maker or makers who cannot be the same persons as the Title IX coordinator or the investigators must issue a written determination regarding responsibility. To reach this determination, the decision maker or makers must apply the standard of evidence described herein. The written determination must include identification of the allegations potentially constituting sexual harassment as defined in 106.3, a description of the procedural steps taken from the receipt of the formal complaint through the determination, including any notifications to the parties, interviews with parties and witnesses, site visits, methods used to gather other evidence, and hearings held. Finding of facts supporting the determination, conclusions regarding the application of the district's code of conduct to the facts, a statement of and rationale for the result as to each allegation, including a determination regarding responsibility, any disciplinary sanctions the district imposes on the respondent, and whether remedies designed to restore or preserve equal access to the district's education program or activity will be provided by the district to the complainant, and the district's procedures and permissible basis for the complainant and respondent to appeal if the district offers an appeal. The district must provide the written determination to the parties simultaneously. The determination regarding responsibility becomes final either on the date that the district provides the parties with the written determination of the result of appeal, if the appeal is filed, or if the appeal is not filed, the date on which an appeal would no longer be considered timely. The Title IX coordinator is responsible for ensuring the implementation of any remedies. Appeal. The district must offer both parties an appeal from a determination regarding responsibility and from the district's dismissal of a formal complaint or any allegations therein on the following basis: procedural irregularity that affected the outcome of the matter, new evidence that was not reasonably available at the time of the determination regarding responsibility or dismissal was made that could affect the outcome of the matter, and the Title IX coordinator, investigators, or decision makers had a conflict of interest or bias for or against complainants or respondents generally, or the individual complainant or respondent that affected the outcome of the matter. The district may offer an appeal equally to both parties on additional basis. As to all appeals, the district must notify other party in writing when the appeal is filed and implement appeal procedures equally for both parties. Ensure that the decision maker or makers for the appeal is not the same person as the decision maker or makers that reach the determination regarding responsibility or dismissal. The investigators of the Title IX coordinator. Ensure that the decision makers for the appeal complies with the standards set forth in the paragraph B13 of 106.45. Given both parties a reasonable equal opportunity to submit a written statement in support of or challenge the outcome. Issue a written decision describing the result of the appeal and the rationale for the result, and provide the written decision simultaneously to both parties. Informal resolution. The district may not require as a condition of enrollment or continuing enrollment or employment of continuing employment or enjoyment of any other right, waiver of the right to an investigation and adjudication of formal complaints of sexual harassment consistent with 106.45. Similarly, the district may not require the parties to participate in an informal resolution process under 106.45 and may not offer an informal resolution process unless a formal complaint is filed. At any time prior to reaching a determination regarding responsibility, the district may facilitate an informal resolution process, such as mediation that does not involve a full investigation and adjudication, provided that the district provides to the parties a written notice disclosing the allegations, the requirements of the informal resolution process, including the circumstances under which it precludes the parties from resuming a formal complaint arising from the same allegations. Obtains the parties voluntarily written consent to the informal resolution process, and does not offer or facilitate an informal resolution process to resolve allegations that an employee sexually harassed a student. At any time prior to agreeing to a resolution, I can see, any party has the right to withdraw from the informal resolution process and resume the grievance process with respect to the formal complaint, and any consequences resulting from participating in the informal resolution process, including the records that will be maintained or could be shared. Record keeping. The district must maintain for a period of 7 years records of each sexual harassment investigation, including any determination regarding responsibility and any audio and audio-visual recording or transcript required under paragraph B61 of the 106.5, any disciplinary sanctions imposed on the respondent, and any remedies provided to the complainant designed to restore or preserve equal access to the district's education program or activity. Any informal resolution and the result therefrom, all materials used to train Title IX coordinators, investigators, decision makers, and any person who facilitates an informal resolution process. The district must make these training materials publicly available on its website, or if the district does not maintain a website, the district must make these materials available upon request for inspection by members of the public. And for each response required under 106.44, the district must create and maintain for a period of 7 years records of any actions, including any supportive measures taken in response to a report or formal complaint of sexual harassment. In each instance, the district must document the basis for its conclusion that its response was not deliberately indifferent, and document that it has taken measures designed to restore or preserve equal access to the district's education program or activity. If the district does not provide a complainant supportive measures. If the district does not provide a complainant with supportive measures, then the district must document the reasons why such a response was not clearly unreasonable in light of known circumstances. The documentation of certain bases or measures does not limit the district in the future from providing additional explanations or detailing additional measures taken. Knocked out the 10-pager.
Yeah,
Good
so real quick, something that as we went through it, preponderance of evidence. So you'll see this all the way through board policy. And anytime the board has to make a decision on anything in regards to that, preponderance of evidence is so in court, it's reasonable without a doubt, right? So a preponderance of evidence just means that 51% sure. So you don't have to be, reasonable without a doubt. You just have to be more probable than not. And so that you'll see that all the way through any of this documentation is that's the evidence that's needed. It's not, like in the court of law. So that is a difference.
Okay.
Good news. There's only a 6-pager left.
And then the rest are forms.
Yep.
Or really, really short.
Yeah, that's exactly. So I'll start with 0312, non-discrimination of the basis of sex. Compliance officer, the Title IX coordinator shall be the compliance officer, any person who feels unlawfully discriminated against or to have been the victim of unlawful discrimination by an agent or employee of the district, or who knows of such discrimination against another person on the basis of sex, should file a complaint with the Title IX coordinator's office using the following information. So right now, again, I put a marking on here. Name, Molly Pierce, superintendent, Title IX coordinator, Title IX coordinator, address, PO Box 159, Dexter, phone 575-734-5420, email piercem@dexterdemons.org. Grievance procedure, any student or employee of the school district who believes he or she has been discriminated against, denied a benefit, or excluded from participation in any school district education program or activity on the basis of sex in violation of the school board education policy may file a report of sex discrimination or a formal complaint with the Title IX coordinator. Any person may report sex discrimination, including sexual harassment, whether or not the person reporting is the person alleged to be the victim of conduct that could constitute sex discrimination or sexual harassment. Such a report may be made at any time, including during non-business hours, by using the telephone number or electronic mail address or by mail to the office address listed for the Title IX coordinator. A report may be made to any district employee, and that employee shall make the report to the Title IX coordinator within 1 school day of receipt. Failure to make such a report upon its receipt shall expose the employee to disciplinary action in accord with the district policies. The district is committed to investigating each report and to taking appropriate action on all confirmed violations of the policy. The Title IX coordinator shall have reports investigated and document those filed pursuant in the regulation as soon as reasonable. In investigating the report, confidentiality will be maintained to the extent reasonably possible. Upon receiving of a report regarding sex discrimination, which may include sexual harassment with or without the formal complaint, the Title IX coordinator shall have a response provided to complainant and respondent of non-disciplinary, non-punitive, individualized services offered as appropriate, as reasonably available, without fee or charge, which provide supportive measures and which shall include discussion of supportive measures and inform them of what is available without a formal complaint. The Title IX coordinator is responsible for implementation of supportive measures. Upon the receipt of a report regarding sex discrimination or sexual harassment, the Title IX coordinator shall promptly conduct the complainant to discuss the availability of supportive measures, consider the complainant's wishes with respect to supportive measures, inform the complainant of the availability of supportive measures with or without filing or a formal complaint, and explain to the complainant the process for filling a formal complaint. Supportive measures may include counseling, extensions of deadlines, or other course-related adjustments, modifications of work or class schedules, campus escort services, mutual restrictions on contact between the parties, changes in work or housing locations, leave of absences, increased security and monitoring of certain areas of the campus, and administrative leave while a grievance is pending, emergency removal following the individualized safety and risk analysis, and other similar measures. I really think that this is repetitive from the other one. We may need to see if these two policies, because
Overlap.
yeah, and I guess what the difference is, because it should be one policy. The district must maintain it as confidential any supportive measure provided to the complainant or respondent to the extent that maintaining such confidentiality would not impair the ability to provide the supportive measures. The Title IX coordinator is responsible for coordinating the effective implementation of supportive measures. The Title IX coordinator shall contact the complainant and gather information to complete the grievance report. Following completion of the forms, the Title IX coordinator shall cause an investigation and documentation of complaints filed per policy ACA and regulations ACA-RA insofar as it applies and as soon as reasonable. In investigating the grievance, confidentiality will be maintained in the extent reasonably possible. The Title IX coordinator shall, upon the investigation drawing to a close and prior to the completion of the investigation report, send to each party and the party's advisor, if any, the evidence subject to the inspection and review of the electronic format or a hard copy. The parties shall have at least 10 days to submit a written response, which the investigator will consider prior to completion of the investigation report. After the district has sent the investigative report to the parties and before reaching a determination regarding responsibility, the superintendent or decision maker must afford each party the opportunity to submit written. You're making highlights over where I can't.
Sorry.
Written relevant questions that a party wants asked of any party or witness, provide each party with the answers, and allow for additional limited follow-up questions from each party. The superintendent or decision maker shall, upon having the investigative report completed, and if there is reason to believe that a violation of the policy has occurred, provide a written documentation which must include identification of the allegations potentially constituting sexual harassment, a description of the procedural steps taken from the receipt of the formal complaint through the determination, including any notifications to the parties, interviews with parties and witnesses, site visits, methods used to gather other evidence, and hearings held, findings of fact supporting determination, conclusion regarding the application of the district's code of conduct to the facts, a statement of and rationale for the results of each allegation, including a determination regarding responsibility, any disciplinary action the district imposes on the respondent, whether remedies designed to restore or preserve equal access to the district's education program or activity will be provided by the district to the complainant, the district's procedures and permissible basis for the complainant and respondent to appeal if the district offers an appeal. If the person alleged to have violated policy is a teacher or an administrator, the due process provisions of the district's policy GCQF shall apply in cases of serious misconduct. Dismissal or suspension proceedings in accordance with policy may be initiated. If the person alleged to have violated the policy is a support staff employee due to process and discipline under policy GDQD, may apply if the evidence so warrants. If the person alleged to have violated policy is a student, the discipline may be imposed in accordance with policies JK and JKD.
Appeals. The district shall offer both parties an appeal from a determination regarding responsibility and from the district's dismissal of a formal complaint or any allegations therein on the following basis: procedural irregularity that affected the outcome of the matter, new evidence that was not reasonably available at the time the determination regarding responsibility or dismissal was made that could affect the outcome of the matter, and the Title IX coordinator, investigators, or decision makers had a conflict of interest or a bias for or against complainants as respondents generally or the individual complainant or respondent that affected the outcome of the matter. Timelines. Following the procedures found in ACA-RA, the discrimination report or a formal complaint must be filed within 30 calendar days after the complaining party knew or should have known there were grounds for a complaint or grievance. Once the grievance report has been received, the grievance form provided by the district is to be completed within 1 working day if possible. The Title IX coordinator shall require the immediate supervisor or site administrator to investigate and respond in writing to the complaining party within 10 working days of obtaining the information in the form of ACA-E so far as was possible. If the complainant is not satisfied with the actions taken by the administration as indicated in the response and efforts to alleviate the discrimination alleged, the complainant will have 10 days within which to submit a written objection, including a statement of the reason for their objection to the superintendent. The superintendent will have 10 additional working days to respond in writing to the complaining party regarding the objection. If the complainant or respondent is not satisfied with the superintendent's response and efforts to alleviate the discrimination alleged, establish responsibility, or dismiss any allegations, the complainant or respondent will have 10 days within which to submit a written objection to the board based on one of the following: procedural irregularity that affected the outcome of the matter, new evidence that was not reasonably available at the time the determination regarding responsibility or dismissal was made that could affect the outcome of the matter, and the Title IX coordinator, investigator, or decision makers had a conflict of interest or bias for or against complainants or respondents generally, or the individual complainant or respondent that affected the outcome of the matter. The board will then review the record of the investigation and have 30 days to respond to the complaining party in writing. Extension or delay request. Either the person who reported or the district may request a temporary delay of the grievance process or the limited extension of timeframes for good cause with written notice to the complainant and the respondent of the delay or extension and the reasons for the action.
So 0331 is the grievance form. And so 0650 is back to educational philosophy and belief statement. No volunteers.
Here you go, I got you right here.
Gotta get it open.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. Okay. Get this big. I keep looking over here to the sides and I'm like, how is Miss Miles reading that? I have it like zoomed in.
You want my readers?
I need some. I have it all zoomed in and I'm like, what is going on here? Okay, maybe I do need to get my eyes checked. Okay. A-0650. Can't read that. Educational philosophy, belief, statement, district philosophy. It is the belief of the Board of Education of Dexter Consolidated Schools that an educational program should strive to develop the inherent potential of each child in the moral, social, academic, and vocational facets of life. It is understood that each child enters school with different and varying preparations of preparation experiences and potential. It is our goal to build upon those experiences and that potential so that each student becomes a participating and contributing member of our society. The board further believes that parents and guardians are important participants in the education team. Since the education of the children must be a cooperative effort involving students, parents, educators, and community, the schools will establish and maintain communications and interactions with parents and the community. We believe all students can learn. Learning and leadership is a partnership between administration, faculty, students, parents, and community. Respecting diversities and cultures is important to our families and society to support community and cultural unity. Systematic educational decisions are made using student-centered data. In the value of criterion-based evaluation, which compares students with standards, not each other, and that is fair, valuable, and equitable. Adopted.
So that's the other, so yes, we had to read through a lot, but it was important that we got through both the first ones and this last one. I think before we move to our strategic plan, but it also, to me, if we were to skip around, it would be really hard to track what policies we've looked at versus if we go in order. So at the end, when we have time for future meetings, I would like to maybe go over options. None of them are very long. So we have one more policy, the drug tobacco-free schools. And it literally says, see the following policies, and it lists the other policies on drug tobacco-free schools, drug-free workplace, non-medical use of or abuse of drugs and alcohol, tobacco use by staff members, administering medicines to students, tobacco use by students, drug and alcohol use by students, and tobacco use at public functions. So that is the last policy.
Okay, so item 6Q, approval of NMCA part-time resolution.
So the part-time resolution, this comes up every single year. If we have anyone who is less than full-time,
Less than 20 hours a week.
yeah, less than 20 hours a week, we have to sign stating that we will still provide them with insurance. And so we currently do have bus drivers as well as a custodian who meet that need. We are also currently already paid 80% of their insurance. Based upon how much you currently make, we do pay some staff 80-20, and then as staff typically make more money, we go to a 60-40 model. But we will be changing that for next school year to 80-20 across the board. So this is just the NMCA part-time resolution, and every year we'll pass this. That way we can still provide insurance to those employees.
Okay, do we have a discussion or motion on the floor?
I move we approve the NMCA part-time resolution.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Ms. Mons. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Ms. Batista. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Okay. So item 7, finance and facilities. A, approval of February bills and payroll. Any questions on budget reports, or you guys covered that earlier? Kind of good.
I don't think we covered it. but-
We did not cover it.
Okay.
We're teaching.
Oh, you guys,
Skills.
okay, cool. Perfect.
I move we approve the February bills and payroll.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a second by Ms. Batista. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Item B, approval of budget adjustments, bars.
No
Okay.
questions.
No questions? And from what I understand, and I know I've just been kind of running the meeting, I also can make a
Ask
motion,
questions.
well, actually, make a motion and or second,
Yes,
from what I understand.
you can.
Okay. Just been sitting kind of.
Ms. Batista, remind me after this, we provided sheets to all, board members at the beginning of last school year, and I have one for you, so that way it just has, seconds and everything on there. It's a little cheat sheet, so
Perfect.
I just forgot to give that to you till.
The motion,
I move that we approve the budget adjustments.
okay, we have a motion on the floor by Ms. Batista. Do we have a second?
A second?
We have a second by Mrs. Miles. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. C, approval of gas line, high school culinary and admin building. We have quote.
So I recommend that we approve this. Currently, the gas line that comes into this building, we need to replace that.
Okay.
And with that, both the gas line and the fire alarm, will pay out of public school capital outlay, funds. So.
Okay.
I move that we approve the gas line to the admin building.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Ms. Batista. Do we have a second?
Second?
We have a second by Mrs. Miles. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Item D, approval of field and house interior paint and repairs. And we have a quote as well.
And this, funds is the capital outlay that we went out for last school year. And we specifically asked for the field house. So this is what we specifically said. So the outside will be re-stuccoed, which if you've looked at it, that's cracking, and we've already brought that to you guys. There's some funds left over, and we're gonna repaint the inside and make it look new. So
What color?
mostly white and just
The interior, the bottom half will be blue, the top will be white.
teeny bikini blue is our, no purple and green.
There's quite a bit of work in that quote, actually. I'm very impressed. You know,
Yes, sir.
painting 2,000 square feet plus and
Pulling all the fixtures off.
fixtures, the sinks, the toilets, all that,
Yes,
all
sir.
that good stuff. That was very, very,
And we've got a lot of bare, cinder block in there, so it's gotta be sealed before it can be painted.
wow. Yeah, no, look, I was impressed with that. Good job. Okay, do we have a motion on the floor? And a second?
I move we approve the field house interior paint and repairs.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Ms. Miles. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a second by Ms. Batista. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye, sorry.
I'd say all opposed, say same. Okay,
Distracted.
motion passes unanimously. Item E, approval of internet contract.
So, our current internet contract, we have gone through LECO, and that's about the only place that we can get internet, in terms of a school building with this size. Previously with our E-rate funds, we were having the contract go to them, and then we paid them our portion.
20%.
Our 20% is our portion. However, if we ever buy anything that we need to depreciate, or if we need to replace with insurance costs, we only have what we paid them. So now, instead of us paying them our portion, we're gonna take on, and they're gonna send us their portion. So that way, if something was ever, E-rate money can be spent on technology in general, but if we needed to have an insurance, we could claim the entire cost versus only the percentage that we paid. So that's gonna change.
This bid is the same number as we're currently paying right now.
So it is
Is that
68.
gonna allow us access to the fiber optic, what they just are installing?
The cameras.
We already have a fiber to our.
On our own.
That they had already ran with our building quite a while ago.
Okay.
And this is a 3-year contract, so we're gonna lock in at the 3-year. And then E-rate pays the 80 and we pay the 20%.
I move we approve the internet contract.
Okay, we We have a motion on the floor by Ms. Miles. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a second by Ms. Batista. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, so we looked at, yeah. Nice catch. So F, approval of fire alarm installation.
So when the fire marshal came through, this building doesn't currently call out for when the fire alarm goes off. All our other buildings do, and to meet code, it does have to call out if for some reason that the fire alarm does go off. And so to bring that up to code, as well as be allowed to occupy this building, they gave us time to do that, and so we have to make good on that, so that way we can continue to occupy it.
Okay, and that one is.
It's 45,000
Yep, and the financing for that one.
is the public school capital outlay funds. So PSFA gives us the safety security funds, and we're gonna use that safety security money because that fits in.
Is that, it'll be one and done? We won't have to do it again.
We should not have to do it again. It was in the 80s, so you notice this, you can tell it's like yellow up there. The poor guy who came to give us the quote said, "It's older than I am." And so they obviously worked for quite a while. It just needs to be updated, so that way we're in compliance.
It's a lot of money though.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So did we do it?
I move we approve the fire alarm installation.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Ms. Batista. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Ms. Miles. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. So item 8, personnel, new hires. We have none. B, resignations. Bruce Bailey, band teacher, high school.
His is for the end of the school year.
Yep, May 21st.
Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth Elizondo, science teacher at the high school, also on May 21st.
Miss Elizondo is going to retire. This is her 50th year.
I was gonna say,
Wow,
good luck,
congratulations.
Yeah, so that's very impressive.
everyone.
Oh my gosh, how cool. Oh man, that's so cool. Okay, Christina Hollis, math teacher at the high school, March 9th. Item 9, future agenda items.
Okay, so this is where I kind of wanted to look at the board policy. So for those who don't know, on the school website, Board of Education, School Board Policy, and then it brings you to NMSBA. You will click on the extra policy manual, and it'll bring the policy up here on the left. So we went through all of section A, the foundations and basic commitment. B, if we look through and we go through 0050 school board operational goals, the self-evaluation, here's the evaluation tool for board, the legal status, board powers and responsibilities. This one is the longest.
Okay.
Let's see what number I stopped at. 0550. 350. We could have added more.
Yeah,
And stop here. So two
Yeah.
longer ones.
it wasn't bad. Today truly wasn't that bad. I'm sure everybody's ready to go home, but you know, it is our responsibility to kind of go over it. So thank you for bringing it up.
So I think we'll stop with B0550, and that'll give us about 10 of them shorter in length, but go through them and just be able to talk about them or questions and.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
I like that. That popcorn reading is pretty good. Except for I kept looking to Miss Batista and she's over there looking at stuff and hanging
well,
out. I'm like,
and if y'all keep, it was
takes me
for
back
the
to
first one,
elementary.
clicking up and down, and so all I could see was the cursor going back and forth, and I was like, oh. And then she's highlighting.
Yeah.
It's like, it's really nice that we can share.
yeah,
It's also,
Actually, it's all brand new to me.
yeah, this is actually so neat, super nice. Okay, so item 10, correspondence, future meetings and events. A, correspondence, do we have any?
No correspondence.
Okay, no correspondence. B, future meetings and events, March 16th through 19th, 2026, spring break, no school. March 23rd, NMSBA regional meeting hosted by Dexter School Board, which everybody's working hard on that, I'm sure. March 27th, special meeting. April 13th, regular board meeting. Item 11, adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Ms. Miles. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second by Ms. Batista. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you guys for being here
Yes, thank you
tonight.
guys. I know you guys have been